Welcome back to AI Today. I'm your host, Dr. Alan Badeau. First segment, we talked about ethics. We talked about the trends that are really going to influence some of the decisions that we're making and some of the impacts that folks may see moving forward, and how you're using customer data, how you're interfacing with those, and how you're making your decisions. In our next topic, I want to talk about, how we can start to use AI more to really drive content creation. There are some media that are really doing a good job on those sort of things, and very traditional sorts of things. And there's some impacts that we're starting to see, but there are some other, really, platforms where you can really start to take advantage of that, often overlooked. Oh, I can't use it on this platform. I can't use it on this other platform. Well, I want to show folks that you really can. And I've got an interesting example for you. But, looking at it, how we engage our audience and how we get them to participate is oftentimes driven by, personalities. It's oftentimes driven by, fear in some cases. And what we're trying to do is, really get the folks that are supposedly subscribed to our content to really interface with that, to interact with that. Why? Because we want to upsell. We always want to upsell, right? We want to generate more revenue somehow. And, the only way to do that is through, getting them to participate. And, you can use AI more than just to generate, a marketing campaign. What you want to do is you want to figure out ways that you can use the AI to engage your customers. Think about, asking the AI, how do I get, men that are 25 to 30 to do something, to click on more of my content, because that's your targeted market. Or, you can talk about that targeted market and you say, my primary market is, 25 to 30-year-old males that are, I don't know, pick a demographic. It really doesn't matter, but, say, how do I sell more content to them? And that is really thinking out of the box. You're trying to just understand your customers more. That allows you to tailor your material more. And as we are going into 2025, we're going to start to see that significantly more throughout all social media platforms, throughout TV, throughout even some of the stuff that we're all looking at and generating. There are some tools out there that can do that today. You can do that through ChatGPT. You can automate some of that through ChatGPT. You can use Canva. You can use Jasper. There's a whole bunch of other things that you can do that with. But being able to generate that stuff in seconds is really important. That's great. However, being able to analyze it and get the results back that you're looking for is significantly more powerful than just generating content. Because if the content is wrong or it's not tailored to the right audience, you're wasting your time. And we don't want to waste time on this show. That's the entire thing. Time is the one thing that I'm trying to give you back. My personality, I try to accelerate as much as I can. I don't know any other way. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to give you the tools to be able to do those sort of things. And so I've got an interesting example, because every time I get questions all the time, how can I apply it to this? How can I apply it to something else? Well, I had some OnlyFans content creators reach out to me. There's two of them. And, it's great. They are exceptionally smart. It's their job. It's a business. And they wanted some help to see how AI can really optimize some of the media that they're trying to, get their folks to click on. And so let me pull up my demo really fast. And this was an interesting topic and something I think folks should pay attention to, because you always tell me, oh no, it doesn't apply to my area. I can't use AI to do that other than generate content. Well, no, you're wrong, because this is one that, couple of questions around this. And it's, really, I'm an OnlyFans creator with 5,000 followers, but the only ones that seem to engage are the same 10 to 20 people. And that's a waste. How do I increase fan participation without just continuing to give away, my content? And, you ask a very simple question around that, but it's a multi-factored problem solving engagement plan that you really have to come up with. And if you look at this, it's telling you some basic things around marketing, but it's really specific to what you're trying to sell. You've got to figure out a way that you can make yourself seem more exclusive. Why? Because the more exclusive is, the more people want to to participate. How can you engage fans in different ways? It's either polls, it's live streams. There's a lot of different things that you can do out there. Gamify the things, have people play games and do some fun stuff like that. It's being able to show some different types of content that you have without giving away your most monetizable content, because that at the end of the day is how you're going to make more money. And then it's also increasing paid participation, using other social media platforms and collaborating, and then also looking at ways that things that work, analyzing it with AI, and then doing some additional deep dives around that. Now, also, there are other ways that folks are being able to use these tools, as well. From an HR perspective, from an ethics perspective, the two that I have been, working with, quite honestly, they're having some issues even with, folks that are participating, or that are participating with them. How do they deal with customers that are very challenging? How do they deal with content that is inappropriate? And that is a struggle for them. And when you pull back the onion on that and you start to look at some things that are being said and that are being driven around the material and some of the things that folks are driving toward, you start to think, well, maybe AI could be a good way that you can start to look at filtering your own material, things that you're going to put up on there that will help drive some of those conversations. There are ways that you can behave in ways that you should not behave. And when it's stepping over the line, AI is a great tool for that, because it can help with some of those things. Now, you can't, of course, use it on the platform, but you can use it as you're generating certain types of material. And quite honestly, I think some of these platforms should look at using AI even a little bit more from a tagging perspective, where, I don't know what has happened in the years where we have seemed to have lost civility, where we think that, just because we, pay for something, that it gives us the right to, be obnoxious, be idiots, and say inappropriate things. That's an unfortunate, thing that is happening to folks all the time. And AI is one of those areas where we should be using it to help with that. We should be using it on all of our platforms to help weed out that kind of crap that should not be on there. People do not need to, be treated that way. AI is something that can help facilitate that moderation, going forward, because, quite honestly, nobody deserves to be treated, in a way that is inappropriate, that is demeaning, whatever you want to call it. And AI is something that we can leverage to really strengthen that. And, moving forward, it's going to become more important, because, again, going back to our initial discussion around ethics and regulation, they will start looking at that even closer. Europe, like I said, they're way ahead of us. They have rules with the GDPR and how things are supposed to be managed, the age limits associated with those, what can be said, what filters have to be set. And until we get to that point, we're going to continue to expose a lot of our content, generators to influences that should not be there. They don't belong there. Whether it's online at if, a site like OnlyFans where it is their job, or it is even Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever that is. Where folks are pretty strong when they have an anonymous username, and when you come out and you have to face the ramifications of that because it's your real name, you behave different. And tying those two together, whether it's your ethical usage of these things, or hiding behind an anonymous username, there's no place for that. And I think going into 2025, civility, using your head, and doing the right thing is really going to be tantamount to applying AI to some of these problems, and having a really strong solution that is embedded, that's protecting our folks. And I'm going to get off my soapbox now, because I get really emotional when it comes to those things. And folks that know me, when I start to get a little emotional, I go off the rails sometimes. So I'm going to pull back. We're going to regroup, and then we're going to go to a commercial break, though. And after we come back, we're going to talk about some technologies and some things that folks need to be prepared for, that are going to impact their business. So stick with us. We'll be right back.